DB, I assume you had to go up against AB, and if Seattle is the team that does end up getting him with him and Metcalf and Lockett, and if Josh Gordon ends up being reinstated with that team, like, how the fuck do you stop them?
Yeah, with the run game,
man, you keep them off the field. That's the only answers you would have for an offense like that with those weapons. I mean, I think they're already leading the league in scoring, but to add somebody like AB, because every week going into the game plan on Wednesdays, you start out and you put up on the head coach puts, hey, these are the game records, right? These are the guys. These are our keys to success. We got to stop these guys. We can't let these guys beat us. So if you got Seattle, obviously Russell Wilson will be one. You got DK, and now you got to throw AB, Lockett, where? So you only got so many guys on defense that you can pay attention to. So it's like, damn, how do we handle this? And then Russell's one of those guys who can extend plays you kind of need to spy on. So that'll be a really, really tough offense to stop. And it makes sense because they're struggling kind of on defense. Don't have that pass rush on defense, so I guess their mindset is just, hey, we just got to outscore everybody.
Which is the NFL now, by the way.
That's the NFL, yeah.
And I don't think anybody is talking about Russell Wilson is on an MVP-like season.
Oh, yeah.
But he has enough weapons like what the Chiefs have at this point. If they get AB in there week 8, I mean, that's a lot. That's a high-powered offense. You have a great quarterback running. Could be a fun run to watch that. With Antonio Brown.
That'd be crazy. AB and Lev Bell facing off in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
We'd be here. Hey, look at us.
Hey, look at us. You're a South Florida guy.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you know Antonio Brown. How do you feel like his mental state is? How do you feel he will be if he does come back to the Seattle Seahawks or other teams that Shefty put out there just to, I think, potentially stir the pods? Well, there's also other teams.
That's some good agent work. That's some great agent work right there.
Absolutely.
You got Seahawks interested in other teams.
Others. Yeah. Let's keep the pot stirring so we can either get as much money as possible from Seattle or let other teams know that it's okay to be interested because there's numerous teams that are interested. I mean, it's a good PR move, whatever the case. But how do you feel? How do you feel about Antonio Brown coming back? Is he going to be the same Antonio Brown on the football field? And you think off the field, maybe he's all the way back, you think?
I think it's off the field would be my only concern. And I go way back with AB. We had the same agent when he got drafted. And when he was sitting in the room waiting to get drafted, our agent hit me and was like, hey, man, I need you to go over here with this guy. And at this point, he was an unknown in Central Michigan. And he was training kind of in the same area. So I went over there. I was winning when he got drafted. And then obviously you see him skyrocket. And things change, man. It's much harder to handle success than failure. And, you saw him kind of, fall off the mountaintop, screwed himself over a lot of the times. And I reached out to him. We had some conversations throughout this time. And I just hope his head is right. We haven't seen him as much, and that's a good thing. He just kind of fell back. Hopefully he's talked to some professionals as far as the mental, making sure everything is in place. But when you go, if I'm a team and I'm looking to sign AB, I want to make sure I have a plan in order to handle him. He's a professional, he's a grown man, but hey, we need to have something in place. It got to be a strong locker room, strong leadership. We got to have something in place to handle him. But on the field, you see him work out. He's still in shape. He's the best receiver I've faced in my career.
Why? Why?
So on the field, I would say he's still going to be that guy.
Why is he the best you've ever faced?
His motor. Number one, he never stops moving. And a big part of that, honestly, was playing with a guy like Big Ben, who bought extra time. So it wasn't only about the first route that he ran, but they were like on a damn umbilical cord. Like they just knew they were on the same wavelength. So that was tough. And if he can kind of build that rapport with somebody like Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers or somebody who can buy that extra time, he's unstoppable. He can beat you on all three levels of the defense as well. You can throw a screen to him. He can go 60. He has that return ability. He can beat you intermediately and move the sticks. And he can take the top off of your defense. So you don't have too many receivers who can affect the game at all three levels. So that's what separates Antonio Brown during his era, from the other guys.
He did cut his own umbilical cord there with Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So cut this thing out here. Then he went to Derek, and he didn't have any respect for him, I don't think, which, by the way, I'm not sure Derek Carr deserves that or not. He gets a Tom. He dominates with Tom for that one drive. He gets 6 targets or 7 targets, 6, and a touchdown. Then he's gone out of there. It's like, I'm pumped to see him with another great quarterback again. I just hope off the field everything is good. Is Russell Wilson a quarterback that you think Antonio Brown thinks highly enough that he won't want to get pissed off at him for any reason if something goes bad. I think Russell Wilson's one of those guys. I've never played on a team with him. Obviously, I've only heard him mic'd up. It feels like he is the consummate positive guy. And from the way people talk about it, he is always like that. It's almost like a Tim Tebow thing. And some people might say that's insufferable.
Yeah, but I'm not saying he's not incredible. I mean, he's very good. So,
But you're also saying,
yeah, he's pretty insufferable.
some people might say that,
Sure.
right? I don't say that. I say that's a consistent guy, and I've never heard a human talk like that. But that locker room with Russell Wilson, with Pete Carroll as well, I just think that would be a place that Antonio Brown would succeed at off the field in his happiness and everything like that. But let's also not discredit what he could potentially be doing right now to hopefully, maybe he did go see a doctor or did something like that. And if your chemicals are off or what, I'm not saying this happens. I'm just saying from personal experience with friends who potentially had battles of mental health, if it gets diagnosed, chemicals can be aligned very quickly almost. So, and we haven't heard much from Antonio. Maybe Antonio Brown has figured this out for himself, and he's nowhere near going to be the type of player that would warrant a worry about him potentially burning the entire locker room down. But on the other side, who knows? I guess that is the probably $7 to $10 million question down the line.
Well, don't you think Antonio Brown would do well in a situation either like a Belichick, Tom Brady, like, hey, these guys, we know who the boss is, Bill Belichick. It's like the dictatorship, but I'm going to be a pro and go about my business. He won't bother me. Or like a Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson type team where, like you said, ultimate positivity at all times. Like, Pete will do such a good job of smoothing I bet Pete will be so far ahead of it before Antonio ever even has a freak out.
By the way, Pete Carroll came out and said, yeah, we're in it. Like he wanted it to be known that they are interested in Antonio Brown, which I think is him potentially trying to show Antonio Brown like, hey, I want you to be here. We want you to be a Seahawk. I want you to be a Seahawk, which could be a part of this entire thing with Pete Carroll. Everybody says Pete Carroll is the guy you want to play for if you're in the league. What's that, Nick?
Question for you and AJ, not to make this political, but do you have any concern about dropping AB into a lawless, autonomous city like Seattle?
I just hope he votes, okay? All we care about is we hope he votes.
Go vote.
Go
Rock the
vote.
vote.
That's all we care about. Seattle is, I guess, pretty wild right now. Yeah.
Is that still open? Chaz or whatever they called it?
I'm not sure. I don't know enough about it, but I will, on Twitter, I'll scroll through something, I'll see something, I'll be like, oh, this is a movie. And then I'll be like, nope, it's not. Oh, shit. All right, I'm going to get out of here. That's how I operate in this particular sphere. But Antonio Brown going to Seattle would be a nightmare for NFC teams because of the amount of offense they would have.
Hey, you had Darius on earlier, and Darius was talking about how AB's motor is always running, and he's always moving. He's always finding a way, and he said it may be because of Big Ben and how much time Big Ben can create. Well, guess what? Russell Wilson can create a 15-second play, so you'll have some time to run your guy in circles and find a way to get open.
Oh, man. Did the Seahawks just... That's problematic for our Packers, I think.
No, I know.
Your Cowboys, our Packers. I mean, that's problematic for there potentially.
What are you going to do?